So I'm on YouTube quite a bit, listening to a lot of different stuff. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I decided to do my own channel. Just to, I'm listening, taking in tons of content. I thought, well, maybe somebody would want to listen to what I had to say. Um, what when you click on a video, if it's popular video or anywhere near popular, you'll get a commercial. What is interesting though, and many of you will realize what I'm saying is true if you spend any time on YouTube. If you don't hit skip, many times they will punish you with another commercial. I find this to be interesting. I almost see, in my mind, I think if you go through the whole commercial that started the video, maybe they'd let you pass and just get to what you clicked on. But no, if you go through it, they'll then give you another commercial, and then you'll have to wait and see the skip thing and then hit skip. They punish you for for your agreement. YouTube is run by left-wing people. Left-wing authoritarians who think, busybodies, they're in it, they're they are the nanny state of social media. It isn't enough for them to just allow access to everything and assume that you will gravitate toward what you want, eliminate what you don't want. No, they will help you. They will be your mommy and your daddy by picking and choosing and eliminating things on your behalf. So there are some things that they allow and some things that they don't allow. And it's very interesting when you realize the criteria because it seems very strange and one sided politically. So there are left wing troglodytes basically that control their platform to push an agenda, basically. Um, and it's it's interesting left wing. It's a microcosm of left wing behavior, and what I mean by that is simply this: you give them an inch, they will take a mile. So if you listen to that commercial, they will make you listen to another commercial. And this is something that I think Nicki Minaj is experiencing right now because she, to me, is the system. She's in it, she promotes it. Every and this is why she's rewarded by the world, by the whole system. I mean, everybody just not everybody, but the pop culture people into that stuff, the sheep of the world. I would say the sheep. Um, they just fawn over that sort of stuff, right? And I assume most of you are aware of the fact that she's in this dispute with Twitter. She says Twitter basically canceled her account. Twitter says they didn't. And it is interesting because she is. So there was this Met Gala, just to catch people up, just in case you didn't know. There was this Met Gala where all the rich people put on this stuff, and people like occasional Cortex shows up and pretends like she hates rich people, even though rich people probably paid for her to go there. This sort of optical illusion stuff that the left is famous for. Um, and she didn't go because she said she hadn't been let me see. Let me not say that word. Um, she hadn't got what I'm going to call from now on the Reich shot. She didn't get the Reich shot. Um, and she seems to be a little hesitant. And she said, simply as I understand it, do your own research. She didn't say don't. She didn't say you should. It's funny how If you say you don't, you're evil, but you can say you should. Like, this is one of the strangest things that I don't know if you've noticed this, but nobody wants to give financial advice, but everybody wants to give medical advice. Have you noticed this fancy thing going on? This very interesting thing. Um, Everybody's an expert. If you say do your own research, talk to your doctor, this sort of stuff, that's not good, according to the powers that be. Have you noticed this phenomenon? You should listen to what your TV tells you. Your TV's telling you something very specific. Your TV is programming you to get the right shot. It says you need to have it. It's for your own good. And for some reason, somebody like her, um, who is part of that system, seems to be against it for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe there's some anecdotal stuff that's happened in her family apparently that she says that has taken place. But what I think is interesting about this whole thing is the fact that it illustrates this broader point that I brought up with YouTube, which is you. Well, there's this. Let me put it this way. Jordan Peterson had this part in his book where he said, I think it was in his book, never, never give in to the mob because it'll never be enough or something like that. I haven't read his book, so I'm paraphrasing what I've heard people say. But it seemed true when I heard it, right? Never give in to the mob. And the left is the mob. This is what it's like a protection racket, what they're doing, even with the Reich shot. You better get it or you'll lose your job. You better, we're not making you, but you need to get it or you can't feed your family. This sort of thing. It's like a protection racket. This is something like the mafia would do, right? And um, I just think it's interesting that you've got somebody like Nicki Minaj, and it seems like she's drifted off the plantation. Now, all the stuff that she's done to promote the degradation of our society, to promote the further uh, sexualization of women, the people who say they love women, by the way, um, and or also say there is no such thing as a woman. There's no difference between a woman and a man. You know how it all gets super confused. You just gotta trust them. That's the whole point, right? That's why they confuse everything, because then they'll lead the path for you. They'll show you the way out of the darkness, right? Just listen to what the powers that be say. Um, and she's off the plantation, um, and and you see how they're treating her now. And there's even part of me, I'll be honest, there's part of me that thinks this might be a whole setup too, like she'll come back and be like, oh, I've done the research, and it's just me being really, you know I don't want to say I never say I'm a conspiracist. Like I'm not a conspiracy theorist because I don't make a lot of claims. I just have a lot of questions. And I'm questioning whether this is legit, but let's go with it, right? um I find it very interesting. I find it very interesting that she is off the plantation at this point, if we're to believe our own eyes and our own ears. Um, and I hope this is true. I hope this is true. I hope she is off the plantation, because she's understanding now what it means to be an individual. See, this is the difference between the right and the left. This isn't about policy in this respect. It isn't about a method like, oh, I believe this method is best, or I believe this method is best. It's about whether or not you should be forced into it. See, the right is individualistic. So, what you can do whatever you want, and then I'll do whatever I want. So we both win, right? But the left isn't like that. The left is not like that. They say, my opinion is so great, and I think so highly of my opinion, I'm going to force you to acquiesce to what I want. And this is the insidious evil of the left. And people want to know, why am I so partisan? Look, I'm not promoting the Republicans because I think they're cowards. I think they're a false choice. But until we get to the point where we don't actually choose evil, then we can get to the point where we can start forcing those who pretend to be good to actually be good. That's where I'm at in this nation. And hopefully Nicki Minaj is starting to understand that you can do whatever you want. This is what, she sort of kind of is like that, right? And this is something that I think, this is a theme throughout some of the videos. I don't know who's watching this or, but this idea of philosophically the difference between the Christian worldview and the atheist secular worldview, because it's all deception on that other side. They pretend it's libertarian, but it's not libertarian. And that's why so many atheists are socialists, because they've exchanged the glory of God for the worship and the organization of men. This is what happens. And so if you are a libertarian, and if it's just do as you ever want, which, could be what Nicki Minaj is into, it certainly seems that way. And she doesn't like the idea of being told she needs to inject this into her body, which I also find interesting because just, not to be, too negative or crass or what have you, but she kind of has made her name on being somebody who doesn't mind putting things in her body. So, that, but the point is that she gets to choose, right? And isn't that what we all should be for, right? I mean, we all, if we are not sovereign over our own body, what does that mean for society? This is the bigger problem. This isn't about whether you believe the Reich shot is a good thing or promotes health or works or any of that stuff. It's about whether or not you can demand and abuse somebody who refuses the Reich shot. And so I think that, tell me what you think. I would love to hear opinions about this, about what you think about this whole situation. I hope this is a legitimate scenario where we've got somebody who broke away from the plantation, whatever it took, right, to get you to realize these people don't care about you. They don't love you. They're not in it for you. They're using you as a tool. And you can make gajillions of money with them. You can sell your soul, and they will be more than happy to exchange that soul for some cash. But the minute you wake up and realize the deal, and you decide, wait a minute, I like my soul. Wait a minute, I like my, my sovereignty. Because that's what you sold me anyway. I'm supposed to be the master. I'm supposed to be the one. And you realize, no, uh, there's another master, and you're on his plantation, and you need to abide by his rules. And this is something I think a lot of people should be waking up to. But let me know what you think. See you the next time.